Lower third, that's what we call what gets written down here. We put up what we thought was his Twitter account. Barney Frank does not have a Twitter account, so we apologize. You do. I do have a Twitter. Look, this is Jose Diaz Balart, who is the biggest promoter of Twitter. But can we talk about jobs and the economy? Not the only issues in 2012. 5 candidates on the Republican side are going to address the National Right to Life Convention today. There they are. And social issues, including abortion, are already separating the conservative from ultra-conservative. Mitt Romney taking a lot of heat because he has refused to sign an anti-abortion pledge. Alicia Menendez is a senior advisor for the New Democrat Network, and Jose Diaz Balart is the anchor of Noticiero and also this week, the noon show here on MSNBC. Alicia, how much of a problem could this be for Mitt Romney?
I don't think it's a huge problem, and I actually think it saves him a lot of drama come the general election. You know, voters want someone who communicates clearly and effectively on choices.
But to get to the general election, he has to win the nomination.
He does have to win the nomination, but I don't think that he thinks this is the segment of the vote that he needs to garner in order to move into the general. I think he knows that most voters are coming to vote on the economy, on jobs, and this is going to be secondary even for very conservative voters.
When I was on the campaign trail in 2000, 2004, and I was talking to large pockets of Latino voters, particularly in the Southwest, there was a lot of talk about this issue, and people who would say to me, normally I would vote Democrat, but this is important to me. How big a deal could this be with the growing Latino population?
I mean, imagine, Chris, that was 2000 and 2004. Imagine how much larger our community, the Latino community, is since those short years ago. And the fact of the matter is that if we're going to paint with a broad picture, I think that the average Latino in this country is socially more conservative than other groups. So I think that issues like abortion and other social issues are important. But what Romney's banking on is the fact that in our community, for example, the Hispanic community, unemployment is much higher than the 9.1, 9.2. We're talking about 11.1 or more, and in some areas, 13 and 14, almost Greece unemployment levels for our community and African-American community. So he's banking on that even those that are socially conservative and would have an issue with him kind of riding the fence on it, really will go for his job-making promise.
I would add there that Bush, who did very well with Latinos, was fantastic with his language, where he was hostile towards choice, but he never said anything about overturning Roe v. Wade. He managed to walk that line, and I think Romney has a lot to learn there.
Let's talk quickly about a couple of guys who are not official candidates. The Wall Street Journal is reporting Texas Governor Rick Perry is going to get into the race, but the headline is the Texas Latino leaders give Perry a lukewarm response. Could the Latino vote be a problem for him?
It's absolutely going to be a problem. In his immigration sense, like they are out there. And on top of that, I think he's going to have a real challenge with the fact that you have a Latino candidate running for the U.S. Senate in Texas that's going to drive out the Latino vote.
Alicia, when you say his views are woo, what does that mean?
I mean, he is talking about building fences and it goes beyond border safety.
But you know, it's interesting because, and I'm don't need to interrupt you, but if you look at, for example, Arizona 1070, the overwhelming majority of the voters in that state support that precise kind of thing. So whereas many in the Hispanic community oppose it, most Hispanics oppose 1070 type laws, the overwhelming number of voters support those issues.
Right, but when you look at someone like Perry, who's coming from Texas and is going to need to shore up the Southwest, we have huge Latino constituencies. I think this is going to be a major
Can we talk about Chris Christie?
Contrast from Bush, when Bush was governor.
Chris Christie's on the Today Show today, and he keeps getting asked the questions about his meeting with Rudy Giuliani. Let's listen to what he said.
There's no different answer because I'm here at lunch with you than there is everything I've said publicly. I'm governor. I want to be governor. I'm not running for president.
Why are people so obsessed with asking him this question?
Well, because he is a fresh voice. And you look at the latest Quinnipiac poll, New Jersey voters do like him as a person. His policies are very different. You know, I think that especially among women voters, his last budget, he cut $7.5 million to women's health clinics. It meant that clinics in New Jersey had to close. If you're a New Jersey woman, that's a big deal to you. And so I think people like the persona and they're not so sure on what they see on the policy front.
I think most people really aren't as focused as we are on this issue. I think most people are looking about the possibility, if they have a job, to keep it. If they don't have a job, how to find one. If they've got a part-time job, how to get a full-time job. And these other issues are kind of peripheral, but it's important and interesting.
Alicia, Jose, good to have both of you. Thank you so much.
Privilege to be with both of you.
And